G'day guys, welcome to Financial Fruits episode 10. Josh here with investing for retirement. So, investing for retirement is a lot differently to investing for yourself. We talk about retirement for me and for a lot of people probably watching this video is going to be a long-term goal. Now, for investing for retirement, there are generally retirement products in every different country that you can either invest into via balance or paid as a income stream for the rest of your life. Now, first of all, this is not financial advice. Now, I know people have been memeing this recently, being like, oh, it's just like a financial advice, saying it's not financial advice. Just be aware, like, as much as this is covering our ass, pretty much it is basically cover my ass. It's the fact that we have to say that, otherwise it's against us in the court of law. We don't want to do that when we're trying to just help out people generally. And, if you want to get actual financial advice, you should go to someone, pay the money, and they'll do it for you. Getting freebie financial advice from influencers who are probably sponsored by the company that they're promoting is probably not a good idea, given the fact that most times to be general here while we're discussing this, is that anytime anyone's getting a cut from a sponsored deal and it goes through multiple layers, it's never going to end up well for you, because you could be losing about 7 to 8% of your investment before your investment actually gets into the door, which is not advisable, okay? So just remember, guys, it's only really to tell you guys to get actual financial advice and not go to finfluence or anything like that to get financial advice from. And I'm not trying to be a finfluencer or anything like that. I'm trying to help you guys out, to guide you on that way, not to listen to every word I say, but to guide you on that way to get a person to help you out. So for retirement, let's just talk about Australia, for example. So Australia has superannuation. It also has some old defined benefit schemes. Actually, no, that's with the government. So GISB, for example, PSS, CSS. If you guys don't know what these are basically government supers that are constitutionally protected in Australia, which will pay an income stream for the rest of your life. They gave you a choice previously, either lump sum or income stream, and most of these are old products and they're going to be out in the wayside. Mostly with superannuation, it is mostly a balance type retirement scheme where you have an account balance, basically. So you can know, I've got 500,000 super, that's going to last me for the rest of retirement. That sort of stuff, okay? So that's what it is. You can buy products like annuities, which essentially mimic an income stream for life. So with superannuation. So superannuation is a tax concessional scheme in Australia for the one purpose of retirement and to get people off the age pension. The main goal was to reduce... I can't even spell reduce today. Reduce the burden on the age pension, because people blew their money and then went on the age pension, which means, more government spending. So that's what superannuation is. So with superannuation, there are two phases: accumulation, pension. Pension is 0% tax environment, can only be accessed when meeting condition of release, and accumulation is where anything you contribute goes. Now, I'll probably do a separate section to talk about Australian super and what it is and stuff like that, and how, the basics on it. But overall, for investing for retirement, generally all these retirement schemes have some sort of tax benefit that you can utilize. Whether it is deferred tax rates, so basically America, or tax concessions. So just be aware of that as well. With investing for retirement, is that generally all your retirement income streams are restricted to only when you retire, but they give you good tax concessions so you can build up more wealth within those retirement schemes for when you actually retire. Now, we'll get these, rubbed off pretty quickly. Overall, they do limit how much you can put in to these retirement schemes. Mainly to combat people from putting large amounts in to get tax concessions. So for example, Australia Super, for example, it's 27,500 for a concessional contribution, so before tax. So you don't pay tax on it, or outside the fund, and 110,000 on after-tax contributions. So that's after it's being taxed. So they've restricted it like that. So basically means people can't just chuck $1 million into super and be like, hey, everything's getting taxed at 15%, and you know, I make so much money that I don't have to touch it until I retire anyway. That sort of stuff. Now with investing for retirement, at my age of the ripe of 32, I will not touch these funds until I'm either 60 or 65 onwards. Depending on how rich I am or anything like that, because I have no idea. Like I have no idea. Like I could be in 10 years, I could have my own business making 200k a month. Okay, I don't know that. Okay, so I've got to be, you know, trying to build up retirement goals and estimating of where I'm going to be or anything like that. Basically, of when I'm going to access it. Generally, my goal is to access at 65 and continue working until I don't enjoy it and want to just stop working. So generally it's going to be 65, because with 60, I feel like what I'm going to have is not going to be enough to you know, live off when I retire. Now, the scariest thing about retirement, which is a shock to some people, is that you will not be generating any income other than from your investments. So you have, you know, more investment anxiety, basically, if the investments go up and down. So yeah, it's going to be kind of a difficult one to deal with. So yeah, you know, that's probably the scariest thing about it. Like, you know, you'll be depending on your investments and also the concessions and stuff like that they have in it. Now, to utilize these with these retirement products, so that's the most important. You want to utilize these now, is the power of compounding. So pretty much if you, like, you know, let's just say pretty much if you put, like, you know, $400 per week, or not per week, per month into super at a young age, due to the lower tax. Okay, so let's introduce you guys to compounding. So what the term of compounding basically means is that the income and money you put in earlier will compound to either greater returns or a greater loss. Okay, so let's just say you basically you own shares, 10 grand of shares, and you put in, like, basically, and you reinvest the dividend, the return will get greater slowly. If you put money in to invest in more shares per month, the return will get greater slowly. So for example, like, if you so the original 10 grand, you get paid, let's just say $100 in dividend, and then you reinvest it, the next one will be $121 in dividend. You get what I mean? Now, let's just say you 10,000, and you put 4,000 in per year. So the first year you get 100. Then you put the 4,000 in, so it'll be 14,000. And next year you get 140. You see how the power of compounding works, basically? That you slowly will get more income as the asset grows over and over again. Same with retirement. Now, the big caution of it as well with retirement is that most retirement products will limit access until you retire. So basically what I'm going to say is that if you have any immediate financial needs, to make sure that money is accessible. If you don't need it, then you can put it into super or into your retirement product. That's the sort of, like, finger you should go with. Now, That's the hardest part in life, is whether you need the money now or not. And it's going to be very, very difficult overall for, most people. You can start with something small, like $100 into it, and it's eventually going to grow to a big, big, big product. Like, average return on some products is 5% income. So if you put an extra 10 grand in earlier, let's say right now, I've got 28 years of that 10 grand generating $500 every year. Okay, and it's going to keep going up and up and up and up and up. So just be aware of that as well. So sometimes these little $500 per year, or $500 per, or $100 per month, or anything like that, can grow into something big. And then when you get to retirement, your superannuation is about 1.6 million, and you can go on all those trips. You got suitable returns to keep your lifestyle going, and potentially don't really have to worry about money at all. There's no stress whatsoever. You can afford to do with your life what you want with your life. And that's generally how compounding works. Now, we've obviously talked the good side of compounding. There's obviously the bad side of compounding if you make a loss, and the loss will get compounded as well. So let's just say let's just say you're 10,000, it returned, $100, but it went down by 2,000, and you sell it because, I don't know, okay? Now, for that $8,000, let's say you put in another investment that generates 80, for that $8,000 to go back up to 10,000 again, that will take some time. Okay, that's what I'm gonna say. It will take some time because you get 80, then you generate a bit more, then you generate a bit more. You can see here it's going to take a while, and this is what you call the negative side of compounding. Is that if you lose 20%, to get that 20% back over time, you either have to put some extra little contributions in, or basically it could be years down the track before you get back to that 10,000 again. Sounds scary, doesn't it? Sounds scary. But that's also the good fit. That also can be the bad thing about it, and I need to make you aware of it. But the main strategy you should be thinking of always is long term. Generally, in that situation above, it means you basically reacted poorly to a loss, generally. Unless the company will... Because with a lot of these companies that pull back, it's an economic cycle. So it can be an economic cycle as well. It could mean that as well. If not, it could be you saved money too. That's the opportunity. You save money, that company is going bust anyway, and you saved yourself. Just be aware there's good sides of compounding, and there's also bad sides of compounding. But either way, little contributions help. Reinvesting your income helps. The things with investment decisions as well is to not be spooked all the time to sell everything into cash the moment the investment goes bad. Okay, like that the investment goes down. Because you lock in an actual loss, the share could just rebound and go up 20%, and you'll be like, oh, why did I do that? So that's the sort of thing you'll realize with retirement investing, is that it's more of a long-term premise, even when you've retired, okay? Even when you've retired. So let's just put that up here as well. Retirement is a long-term investment, even when you're retired. So even when you can access the funds at 65, life expectancy is still 88 to 90. You still have 23 to 25 years to live. So it's still a long-term investment, because you need money 23 to 25 years down the track. So but the thing is, like, you'd convert, since you can access it, since you have to live off it, you convert some of it to more defensive asset allocation instead. But that's going to be it for today. Just make you guys aware of, retirement products, the ways you should utilize them, and the reasons why you should utilize them is mostly due to compounding and also the concessional tax rate. I mean, let's take a look at the concessional tax rates before we go on, okay? Go off. So my income tax, let's say it's 39% tax bracket, okay? If I own $100, I only get 61 of that, okay? In super, if I own $100 in super, I get $85 of that, okay? You know how we used that example before of compounding? So let's just say it returns 10%. So I get $6.10, and I get $8.50 here, okay? So even though the difference at the start is $24, it becomes a lot larger and larger and larger as the investments go down. That's why it's really important to get a correct tax structure. And it's also very, very important to understand the power of compounding, especially on tax rates. You think $24 is little? It's not little, okay? Now it's going to be $26.40. Or it's going to keep getting compounding, compounding to be make much bigger. And this is only on $100. It gets magnified greater on the thousands and 10,000 of dollars. So this is how important tax savings is with your accountant. And basically looking at the investments and looking at tax rates and make sure you minimize your tax liability as much as you can. Anyways, guys, that's probably it today. It's 15 minutes. Hope you guys have a great day and see you guys later. Bye.